Men over 60, listen to this very carefully. If you woke up this morning and felt that your manhood was completely still, if that natural morning vitality you once took for granted has quietly disappeared, then I need you to understand a truth immediately. You are not too old and your body is not expired. The truth may shock you. Your body is not broken. Your erections have not vanished forever. They have simply entered a state of hibernation and are waiting for the correct signal to awaken again. My name is Naren, a urologist and men's health specialist. With 7 years of experience in the field of andrology, I have helped thousands of men regain their strength, their intimacy, and most importantly, their self-respect. Today, I am not going to give you an expensive prescription filled with side effects, and I am not going to suggest any painful procedures. Instead, I will reveal what I call the reactivation mechanism through 2 specific pressure points, strategic neurological sites that 90% of men go through their entire lives without ever knowing. Before we begin, take a moment to press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling me where you are watching from. Our community is growing across the world, and I want to hear your stories. Let me tell you something I wish every man over 60 could hear from his own doctor. Losing your morning erections does not mean your masculinity has died. It simply means the signal pathway has become blocked. Imagine your body as an old but solid house. Inside that house is a room you have not entered for many years. The electricity is still connected and the light bulb is still functional, but the switch has gathered dust because no one has touched it. The moment you find that switch and flip it upward, the room lights up instantly. Erections work in exactly the same way. Your nervous system is still alive and your blood vessels still retain their ability to carry blood. The issue is that over time these pathways for neurological and vascular signals become desensitized because they lack proper stimulation. I remember Mr. Robert, a 75-year-old retired teacher. During his first visit, he lowered his head and said, "Dr. Naren, I am old now. A dry tree cannot sprout again." I have accepted my fate. But only 3 weeks after applying this method, he walked into my clinic with his back straight and a bright smile. "Doctor, that dry tree, this morning it had sap again. I feel as if I have become 20 years younger." So where is that first switch located? It is in a place most men overlook and rarely ever think about. The first point is the perineum, also known as the root. Place your hand on the area located between your scrotum and your anus. Yes, exactly that small and soft patch of skin. In Eastern medicine, this site is known as the wean point where the pathways of yin energy converge. In modern Western medicine, we refer to it as the danger crossroads for men who spend long hours sitting. Why does this tiny point hold the key to erections? Think logically. It is not merely a piece of skin. Just beneath it lie 2 critically important anatomical structures. The first is the bulbospongiosus muscle. The second is the pudendal nerve. You can imagine the perineal region as the master valve of a plumbing system. The pudendal nerve carries all pleasurable sensations from the penis back to the brain. The bulbospongiosus muscle is responsible for pumping and retaining blood to create firmness. What is the problem for men over 60? After decades of sitting at work, driving, and watching television, the weight of the body has compressed this region for far too long. The valve becomes stiff and desensitized. Blood struggles to flow in, and nerve signals are weakened or blocked. This is why your penis feels cold and unresponsive. So, how do you release this valve? You do not need medication, and you do not need surgery. I want you to try this exercise tomorrow morning. Take a small towel and roll it into a cylindrical shape. Place it on a firm chair and sit so that the rolled towel lies lengthwise and makes direct contact with the perineum, the area between the scrotum and the anus. Sit with your back straight. Breathe deeply and slowly. Let the full weight of your body rest on the rolled towel. Note that you should not apply excessive pressure and you should not cause pain. What we want is stillness and gentle, sustained contact. Within a few minutes, many of my patients describe feeling a warm sensation spreading through the area or a mild tingling traveling downward. This is not imagination. It is the neurovascular system awakening after a long period of inactivity. Mr. Arthur, a 70-year-old former mechanical engineer, once told me, "Doctor, it feels pitch black down there like the power is cut." But after only a few days of practicing this towel-sitting technique, he called me with a trembling voice and said, "I feel the pulse returning. I feel alive again." The moment you sense that pulse, everything changes. Because once the valve opens, the blood flow is released and your manhood remembers its essential function. We have already opened the valve in the perineum, but opening the valve alone is not enough. If the pathway that supplies the valve is blocked, the flow will remain weak. This is when we turn to the second activation point, which is the femoral pathway, the highway that runs along the thighs. Pay attention to your groin crease, the junction between the inner thigh and the lower abdomen. Most men think of it merely as the fold of their trousers. But from an anatomical standpoint, this area is the boulevard of life. Just beneath its thin layer of skin lie two major structures: the femoral artery, which is the primary blood supply to the entire lower pelvic region, and the femoral nerve. After many years of sitting, this fold remains constantly bent. You can imagine a garden hose folded in half for 10 hours each day. The flow is restricted and the pelvic region becomes isolated from fresh blood supply. Activation is simple. Each morning while lying in bed, use your thumb to glide along the groin crease and the inner thigh. Identify areas that feel tight, apply gentle pressure, and hold for 5 to 10 seconds while breathing deeply. Mr. John, a 68-year-old office worker, once said to me, "Doctor, what does the thigh have to do with sexual function?" I told him to give me 2 weeks. The result was remarkable. In the first week, he felt a warm sensation traveling downward. In the second week, he said, "I woke up and my penis was erect. The strength I thought had vanished forever has returned." But to keep this fire burning rather than flaring up and fading out, I need you to commit to 3 small but powerful habits known as the vitality triad. 1 is deep abdominal breathing for 5 minutes each day. This is not breathing to live, but breathing to generate nitric oxide, which is the essential molecule that dilates blood vessels. Without it, there is no erection. 2 is drinking a glass of warm water upon waking. After a night of sleep, your blood becomes thick like old engine oil. A glass of warm water thins the blood and allows the hydraulic system to function smoothly. 3 is reducing sugar intake in the evening. Sugar is the #1 enemy that stiffens blood vessels and damages nerves. Protecting your blood vessels means protecting your sexual vitality. Gentlemen, I want to end this video with a message from the heart. Age is a number, but vitality is a choice. The stories of Harold, Thomas, and Earl that I shared today prove one truth: your body never forgets its purpose. It is simply waiting for you to listen and provide the right care. You do not need miracle pills to feel like a man. You only need 5 minutes of quiet each morning, of a reconnection with these forgotten pressure points, and the belief that this system is still capable. Begin tomorrow morning. Do not delay. And here is my final question to you. Will you commit to spending 5 minutes each morning to awaken your manhood, or will you accept letting it sleep forever? The choice is in your hands. If this video has brought value to you, please share it with a friend or a fellow man who needs to hear this. Do not forget to subscribe to stay updated with the most practical medical knowledge. I am Dr. Naren. I wish you strength, vitality, and a dignified life lived with your true masculine power. Goodbye.